Mia and Daniel had been best friends for years, ever since the day they met at work. It was Mia's first day at the design company, and she was lost, holding a map of the office. Daniel walked by, carrying 2 coffees. "You look like you're trying to solve a treasure map," he said with a grin. "Need help?" Mia laughed nervously. "I'm looking for the break room, but I think I've passed it. Twice." Daniel handed her one of his coffees. "Follow me. And here, you'll need this. Trust me. The coffee here is terrible." From that moment, they became inseparable. Over the years, they developed a rhythm. They worked on projects together, often staying late to brainstorm ideas or finish last-minute edits. They joked about how they could practically read each other's minds. And Daniel was the first person Mia called when she needed advice, or someone to share good news with. But no matter how close they were, neither of them ever crossed the line into something more. Mia often wondered why people teased them about being a couple. Sure, she and Daniel spent a lot of time together, but it wasn't romantic, was it? She thought back to the time they signed up for a pottery class together. Mia had been terrible at it, accidentally shaping a bowl that looked more like a deflated balloon. Daniel, on the other hand, surprised her with his artistic skills. "Don't look so impressed," he had said, handing her the slightly lopsided vase he made. "I only learned so I could make a flower pot for my mom." "Sure, Picasso," Mia teased. But when Daniel wasn't looking, she carefully placed the vase in her bag. She still kept it on her desk, even now. Then, there was the time Daniel had caught the flu right before an important presentation. He had stubbornly come to work anyway, looking pale and miserable. "Go home," Mia had scolded him. "I'll handle it." "You hate public speaking?" Daniel argued, his voice hoarse. "Yeah, but I hate seeing you like this even more," Mia replied. The presentation had gone smoothly, and when Daniel returned a few days later, he surprised her with a coffee and a thank you card. When the CEO announced the company's struggles, Mia didn't panic. She knew she and Daniel could handle anything together. But her world tilted when Daniel told her about the job offer. "I got an offer in Paris," he said, his voice soft. "It's a dream job." "Mia, I didn't think I'd actually get it." Mia forced a smile. "That's amazing." "Paris, huh? You'll be eating croissants and drinking wine every day." Daniel laughed. "Yeah, maybe. But it's also scary, you know? Starting over in a new country." "You'll do great," Mia said, though her chest felt tight. Over the next week, Mia found herself replaying their conversation. She wanted to be happy for Daniel, but she couldn't shake the ache in her heart. Every moment they spent together felt heavier, like a countdown to the day he would leave. It wasn't until their last day working together that Mia realized the truth. They were packing up their desks when Daniel picked up the vase he had made years ago. "You still have this?" he asked, smiling. "Of course," Mia said. "It reminds me of us." Daniel looked at her, his expression unreadable. But before he could say anything, their co-workers burst in, dragging them to the farewell party. Later, As Daniel hugged her goodbye, Mia felt like her chest might burst. She watched him walk away, and it hit her. She didn't want to lose him. The next morning, Mia woke up with a plan. She grabbed her bag and rushed to the airport, her heart pounding. She had rehearsed what she would say 100 times. But as she stood in the crowded terminal, her mind went blank. "Daniel!" she shouted, spotting him in line. He turned, his face lighting up in surprise. "Mia, what are you doing here?" Mia took a deep breath. "I couldn't let you leave without telling you something." Daniel stepped out of the line, his expression serious now. "What is it?" "I love you," Mia said, her voice trembling. "I've loved you for a long time, but I was too scared to admit it. I don't want you to go." "Daniel." Daniel stared at her for a moment, then smiled. "You have no idea how long I've waited to hear you say that." "You... what?" Mia blinked. "I love you too, Mia. I always have. But I didn't think you felt the same. So I kept it to myself." They stood there, surrounded by the noise of the airport. But to Mia, it felt like the world had gone silent. Daniel chuckled. "So now what? Should I cancel my flight?" Mia laughed, tears streaming down her face. "I don't know. Maybe we figure it out together?" Daniel nodded. "Together sounds perfect." And as they left the airport hand in hand, Mia realized that sometimes it takes losing someone to see just how much they mean to you. Their story was far from over. In fact, it was just beginning.